going, everybody? Welcome to the Miss Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. We are here to go over Calabasas Confidential. It is a new series on Netflix. For those who are unsure of where to watch it, this review we're going to be going over season 1, episodes 2 and 3, which was titled All Beef, No Toppings, and Don't Take Me to the Edge. So we start this episode with Gemma, Nicole, Suede, and Rain. They all decide that they are going to go out. I call them the core four of messy because I do feel like these young ladies are messy for no good reason. But apparently Nicole and Gemma feel like if Emma wanted to make peace with Gemma over the situation with Dylan, that she would not have pulled up with Dylan. And I think at this point that Gemma needs to just hang it up. She's being way too childish with the situation. This is an ex that you haven't dealt with now, we know, for 5 years. This is someone you lost your virginity to, who treated you very foul. This is someone that you never really dated publicly. It sounds like it was a hookup that you probably felt was more, which a lot of young girls do, fall victim to. But I feel like she's dragging it. You're not friends with Emma. You didn't know this girl prior to it. Why do you care who Dylan dates? He can date who he wants. He can sleep with who he wants. I get that she don't like Dylan and he has treated her terribly. But girl, move on. This is sad. This is sad. I want her to do better. Now, before we go any further, I do want to encourage everybody to like the video on your way in or out. Also, you guys can see the links in the description of this video. There are links for how you can connect with me on other forms of social media, as well as links to other great content creators on YouTube. I have a Black Creator Spotlight. Please tap in and find ways to support them. But getting back into the episode, the core four of Messy decides to move on to discuss Emily, who is Kamora's friend. They're kind of concerned about the fact that Emily is talking to Hersey, which I can understand why they would be concerned about that, just because Hersey was in a significant relationship with Kamora, and they are not together anymore in real time. But Kamora's best friend growing up for over 8 years is Emily. So everybody's looking at it like it's shady that she keeps talking about these DMs and talking about the potential of entertaining, flirting with Hersey, all because that's your friend. Like, she's going against girl code. So it does look like Emily might be a little bit messy. And for whatever reason, I feel like Emily was throwing the DMs from Hersey in Kamora's face. I don't know if she was throwing it in her face, but I do think Emily's moving shady because it's very clear Emily wants to talk to Hersey or see where it can go, which nothing is wrong with that. Because again, ex from high school. However, because of the friendship and the fact that you've all kind of known each other, Emily needs to have a conversation with her friend to at least warn her. I mean, that's what I would do. I really wouldn't date anybody I know has dated. But, if you are going to go about it a certain type of way, go about it the right way. Like, please go about it the right way. But we get to see Emma meet with Dylan, and it's not a good meeting. It looks like the drama with Gemma has pretty much interrupted the flow, the vibe, and the funness of the dating arrangement that they had. I kind of feel like Emma wanted something casual. Dylan liked Emma a lot, but I think the friendship part is gone because you put this girl in all sorts of stuff when you could have easily found ways to be peaceful. Like, he does have her in some stuff, like the way he handled it. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to keep dealing with the boy that I'm not even with yet. And he already got other girls mad at me. Like, it's crazy. But then it's also crazy that Gemma is this upset over someone that doesn't even belong to her. But Emma tries to reason with Dylan and get him to understand, that was not cool. And Dylan refers to Gemma as an outsider back in high school who he only slept with at midnight and after hours, was never public with, and alludes that she's a booty call. He says that she's trying to come back to this group as the cool kid, and she's just never going to be that. And Emma pretty much let her know, listen, I don't know the girl. I'm not friends with the girl, but don't just make it seem like she was nothing. You say she's an outsider, but you still chose to deal with her and you were popular. So obviously she has something you like. Like, don't try to downplay her and talk about her so negatively. And I think Emma kind of realized, like, if he'll talk about her like this, how will he talk about me? But of course, when she holds him accountable, what does childish Dylan do? Oh, well, the dog is done. He's ready to go. That dog was fine. Okay, that dog was fine. He didn't want to deal with having to be accountable, which I could totally understand. But again, if that's how you were when you were 16, just tell her like that. I wasn't shit back in high school, but we were never nothing serious. I can't control her. That would have been a better response instead of continuing to try and drag this girl. Like, if he would respond in a less douchebaggy way, I think that I would actually feel like Gemma was crazy and want her off the show. But the way that he responds lets me know that it was something there, because you obviously care enough about this girl to kind of poke and dig at her, if y'all get what I'm talking about. But let me know how you guys feel. I'm always interested in other people's opinions, even if they are different from mine. It's still welcome. Now we get to see a scene with Hersey and his dad. Hersey is happy to be back home in Calabasas. He had went away to college, but in his freshman year of college, he did play college basketball. However, he injured himself. Because he injured himself, he had to miss a year of school and basketball, and it slowed down his progress to get to the NBA. Hersey has been playing basketball since he was a young child. This is his passion. It's all he's wanted to do. And it looks like he's realizing that he may have to really work hard to prove himself to the NBA and to also prove himself to other people, because he feels like because he's Master P's son, people will think that he's getting a handout, but he wants to work for what he gets. I'm not mad at Hersey. I actually respected him a lot because he's really young and has a great mindset. It also sounds like he has a great work ethic. And I think he's going to be a well-grounded adult. He's young. So what if he's in the DMs of different girls? He's in the DMs of different girls. But I do think Master P gave him good advice by telling his son, like, listen, always work towards your dreams and your goals, but also make sure you're working towards your backup plan. Because if basketball doesn't work, he's going to need something. If he plays basketball, makes it to the league, and doesn't want to do sports commentating or coaching, like, he's going to need another business and another form and way to make income. So I appreciated this scene with Hersey and his dad. I honestly like seeing the cast thus far with their parents. I enjoyed seeing Nicole with her dad, and I really enjoyed seeing Hersey with his dad. So, say what you want about these kids, but they are all like okay with working, have gone to school and doing something, which I respect, because a lot of young people, they don't want to do nothing. But we are going to get into Emily and Emma. They decide to go out together, have a little coffee, and they discuss Gemma, because there's been a lot of drama with Gemma. And Gemma's drama, she just flips out at parties and does the most a little bit. But they're discussing the situation with Gemma, and Emma made a good point. Gemma says that Emma is boy crazy, and that's why she don't like her, even though we know she don't like her because she's just a girl who's dating Dylan, and she has an unhealthy obsession. But Emma made the point, like, Gemma calls me boy crazy, but she's the only one tripping over the boy. Then it's funny because Gemma's doing all of this just for Emma to not even be with him no more. So I'm wondering how she's going to respond if there's a reunion or anything like that. How will she respond to the fact that, okay, well, this girl that you had all this negative energy toward isn't even with him no more? So you got what you wanted. Who's going to be your next victim? I think Gemma's just always going to have a problem with somebody. Now, Emily is there too, and Emily talks a little bit about her situation with Kimora, because she feels like Kimora threw shade at her at the party. But I'm like, no, baby, nobody threw shade at you. And if you thought someone threw shade at you, then you say, ooh, or respond to find out. You looked at her and ignored her and then went to talk to somebody else. So thus far, I am not on Emily's side. I feel like Emily is messy and she doesn't have to be. I think Emily's a coward thus far. I'm going to get to why a little later, but so far it's given Emily's a coward, and it's given she wants to make herself into a victim when she's very much so not a victim in any way. Now, Dylan decides to go to Sterling's house, and we're learning more about Sterling. Apparently, Sterling and Dylan are in a bromance. Seems more so on Dylan's end. But Sterling is from Alaska, in the nature. He didn't really grow up rich like these other people. It sounds like he moved to Calabasas in Los Angeles so that he could chase the dream of modeling. Go to New York, Lord. But Dylan throws shade at Kimora. He makes it seem like, okay, we're going to go to her party for her single release. She makes music. He plays the song expecting Sterling to not like it, and Sterling said good things, and he was like, oh, really? Really? You like that? Why do you keep coming for women? But then when you talk about men, you're like, oh, we're in a bromance. Are you cheating on and fucking on all of these different girls, Dylan, because you want to be fucking on boys too? Because that's what is given at this point. Because you real quick to come for all these women, but you do not have that same energy with the boys thus far. But it's only episodes 2 and 3, so maybe I'll see more. I'm gonna give it a shot. But the whole group attends Kimora's single release party, and it was like a whole like Sterling was right. It was damn near a music festival. It was weird. Kimora, nothing about your music sounded like anything special. It just sounded like those techno pop, I'm 20 and have never had a struggle music. Nothing's wrong with that, but do a better job promoting your music. You could have done a lot more. I wouldn't take her seriously as an artist after seeing all of this. And then you fighting at your own event like, girl. But Dylan, Gemma, Kimora, Jody, they are all discussing Emily and the Kimora situation. And Kimora pretty much explains that Emily is not who she thought she was. That's all she said. And it looks like a lot of the group is kind of agreeing with her. We saw Jody agreeing and all of that. But there's a lot that I feel like we don't know about this Kimora and Emily stuff. Like it just feels like certain stuff is being left out. But then I'm going to go off of what I see on the show because I am not following these young people on social media or none of that. But Emily does arrive to the event. And what pissed me off is Emily arrived to an event at her best friend of 8 years' house, knows that she's been talking to her best friend's ex on the low. All she has to do is have a conversation instead of being a scary ass coward bitch. And you show up to my house at my party at my event and come from my old man and you can't even speak to me when you come through the door? The first person she should have said hello to was the person that the event was for. So I saw right through Emily's BS and she's going to act like that wasn't a problem. Also, she wasn't invited. Kimora said right there that she was not invited. So as soon as Emily shows up, Percy pulls her aside. She doesn't even speak to Kimora and he's asking her to go on an official date. And why she hasn't responded to her text. And she's like, well, I'm not really good with my phone. Girl, please. You are under the age of 27. You are great with a phone. You are the best. You've not known life without one. Stop it, please. So they agree that they're going to go on a date. She claims that she wants to avoid drama, but you showed up to your best friend's house while you're in an argument with her, did not speak to her, and now you're off to the side with her ex. And Emily has the audacity to say, girls tripping over boys is crazy. Oh, okay. Okay. We'll see how you feel one day when you get somebody. I don't like her. I just don't like her. Now, meanwhile, all of this is happening and Suede and Dylan are getting real friendly. And I'm not surprised. I felt like Suede, Lexi, Nicole, Gemma, we got them in that first scene when the show first opened at the beach. I immediately was like, y'all are messy. When I would go to the beach and stuff with my friends, California girl here too, except in the Bay Area, we go to Ocean Beach or Alameda, but still, like we went to the beach, had fun, played music. We weren't gossiping. We was in the water, throwing water balloons, squirt guns, playing games. We was doing stuff. So I'm looking and I'm like, the fact that they were gossiping told me that they were probably very messy. But Sway talking to Dylan is crazy. But you got to watch the bitches that claim to be all for girl power and will call you their younger sisters and all of that. Because Sway, you ain't right. You ain't right. And I see through your BS. Now they see her talking to Dylan and they pull her aside. They're like, wait, is everything okay? You like him? And she goes, Dylan's crazy. But you had a great conversation with him. So Suede is fake because she made it seem like, yeah, girl, fuck him. I'm not dealing with him, but you secretly enjoyed your conversation. Again, you whack ass, weak ass, coward ass bitch. All you have to do is let her know I didn't expect to like him. I kind of get why you could get so wrapped up in him. But yeah, there's a vibe. That's all she had to do. But they're young, so they don't understand all of that yet. But later on, we see Emily and Kimora have a talk. Kimora comes over to initiate the talk, which was crazy. The first things I would have said is, how come you came to my house and didn't say nothing knowing we not cool? We could have squashed it. Like, it's giving Kimora cares more about this friendship than Emily does, because Kimora has a right to let Emily come to her, right? She doesn't need to do anything or owe Emily anything, but Emily does owe her a conversation, an explanation, and she's in her fucking house. So yeah, you should come up to me. But Emily doesn't even care enough about the relationship to have like a conversation. But Gemma kind of escalated their conversation. Kimora did explain how she felt. She explained that it wasn't just that one situation, it was a buildup of things. And they were trying to chat. Emily pretty much took accountability for nothing and made it seem like everything was on Kimora, which pissed off Gemma, because Kimora started crying because she cares. And Emily just sat there and was like, you do not care about that girl. That's not your friend if that's how you sit when she's doing something like that. But Gemma walked over, interrupted, escalated things worse. She went off, put her hands all in Emily's face, because Kimora asked Emily to leave. She was like, just get the fuck out then. If you're not going to care, you're not going to help, just get the fuck out. And she didn't leave. She still sat there. And when she sat there and refused to leave, Gemma was like, that's my friend. Hell no. And like went off, put her hands in her face. I said, Gemma, you're doing too much. Go on another reality show and do that to somebody. You might get knocked the fuck out. Be cool, Gemma. Because Gemma does a lot, but I don't feel like this is truly how Gemma is. I feel like Gemma's behaving this way because, one, she probably was traumatized because what Dylan did to her in high school was horrible. But outside of that, I feel like she's very young, probably very sheltered. She doesn't seem to have grown a lot as it relates to maturity, but she's young. She'll get there. But Gemma, you did too much. You didn't need to put your hands in that girl's face and throw a pillow in her face and all of that. But Jody eventually tells them to walk away. And Jody says to Emily, just leave. And Emily finally leaves. Now, Emily was wrong, but Gemma did do too much. Like, obviously, Emily is just, in my opinion, not the best friend. But we get into season 1, episode 3. And we see Gemma and Preston meet up, and they have a talk that was interesting. I was not aware that Preston didn't drink. We haven't really gotten to know much about Preston thus far, though. I don't know what he is. To me, he's the gay best friend, but I learned through this episode that I guess he does talk to women, but it's given gay. Nothing's wrong with it, but what can we do? Happy Pride. Now, we learned that Dylan left the event with Suede, which was crazy. And the camera did kind of catch it, and they did it in a sneaky way. Now, Suede comes to meet with Gemma and Preston as well, and they discuss it. And she says that, so we learned that Dylan said that he took an Uber home. And then Suede says, I don't understand why he would lie about that. Yeah, we went home together. We carpooled. And I'm like, okay, good. You're admitting to the carpool. Maybe this isn't as messy as I'm thinking that it's going to get. But Suede does say on the confessional that she wonders if Gemma is still in love with Dylan. And she says this to Gemma as well. And feels like Gemma needs to kind of let the beef go a little bit. I do find Suede's switch up to be questionable, because how do you go from F you, you're a gross guy, you did her dirty without even knowing the story, to now you low key creeping on the come up and trying to be with this man that you know your friend liked. Like, it all looks very shady to me. That's just my personal opinion. Now, I just feel like, again, Gemma, I'm not trying to get at you, but Gemma was crying in the confessional talking about how Dylan did just more than break her heart. She said he ripped it into pieces or something. And it sounds to me like they didn't have a relationship again. And I don't know. I feel like maybe she's extra attached because it was her first time having sex. Baby, go get some more dick. It's good everywhere. Like, what you doing? Like, I just feel like she could really get over it. I think she needs therapy more than a TV show, but she's also young, so I don't want to like judge her too harshly. Like, people should be allowed to be 21, crazy, young, and just acting a fool on TV, because that's what we all do. It's just they're being filmed. But Gemma, you need to hang it the fuck up. This is ridiculous and tight, girl. Now we see Dylan Hersey and Sterling are at the ranch, and Dylan is having Hersey ride horses and things like that. And Dylan ain't shit. Dylan say now he's trying to catch a vibe with Sway, and that being back around high school people is making him think of high school. And he made a weird comment about Sway giving mommy vibes because she's an older woman. Okay, Sway may be older than y'all by a couple of years, but she is not that old of a woman. However, I do remember being 22, 23 and having friends that were like 27 and being like, ooh, they old. So I think it just goes to perspective a little bit, if that makes sense. But I just found that to be weird. But I love seeing the ranch. I'm starting to think that Dylan is using this ranch and shit as a way to make himself look like he's changed, but I don't think he's changed at all. Something about Dylan is off. Something about him is off. And I feel like we'll figure it out after a few seasons if they're able to get renewed. Now, Kimora and Gemma decide to go shopping. Gemma has an uncle who owns a store that's very popular, very expensive, and he lets her just raid the store and take stuff that she wants, which is very nice. But, you know, it seems like these two are closer because Kimora appreciates the fact that even though Gemma did too much, she was standing up for her friend. I think you can appreciate that as a whole. If Emily ain't going to give you nothing, then I'm not going to defend Emily against whatever Gemma gives. But it seems like Gemma and Kimora feel like Emily's getting babied and is getting special treatment from the group, which I can kind of agree. It's just messy. Like, honestly, Kimora has a right to be upset the way Gemma is over Dylan because this was actually a relationship. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, I done lost my place in my notes. Emma, Emily, and Lexi, they are all meeting up in someone's house and they have a talk. I was relieved to see that Emily was not mad at or blaming Kimora for anything because, bitch, you ain't got no right to be mad, especially after agreeing to go on a date with this boy. But she does feel like Gemma's a common denominator and she does feel like Gemma escalated things, which I agree. But what you're going to do, you cannot blame how your friend feels on the fact that somebody else tried to escalate it. That's not fair. Now, apparently Lexi and Preston are a thing. I thought Preston was gay, so I am surprised to see this. Lexi doesn't seem too interested, but they have a good vibe. They get along really well. Now, they do discuss Dylan and Swade leaving the party together, and they've been carpooling, but then they see a TikTok post that Swade posted of a bicep or whatever. And everybody thought it was crazy because they recognized that it was the bicep of Dylan. I said, Swade, you messy, desperate bitch. Now we see Nicole and Gemma, and they are surprised at Swade and Dylan being off, still kicking it together and doing more than that, especially when they confronted Swade on it and she made it seem like it was nothing. So I do feel like that part is messy. But Gemma, you really might need to seek help because Gemma took the laughing emoji that Swade put in the post as a direct attack against her, like they were laughing at her. And I said, why is him being with somebody today something that has to be against you? But she seems to really think that Dylan will purposefully come for your friends. But if your friends were really your friends, he wouldn't be able to come for them. Like, they would not get far at all. Like, he wouldn't get far at all if they were really your friends. I would never talk to any of my friends' exes. I think that's a bird-like behavior. And I have a friend that has talked to an ex. It's a weird thing. It's just a weird thing. But they are also feeling like this is a big deal because they say that Swade has never hard lodged a guy or really posted a guy to her social media at all like that. So I guess that's a big deal. And once again, Gemma is crying. She says she's not willing to throw her friendship away with Swade because she loves Swade, but I wish she didn't say that because Swade really looked like a douchebag by the end of this episode. Now, Hersey and Emily, we get to see their date. They went on a date. They did what they did. Hersey, you definitely dating the right type of woman because you don't have game when it comes to the Black community. I said what I said. Now, we do, after the date, because their date went well, there's nothing really to discuss there, but feel free to comment how you guys felt about the date. I'm always active in the comments, and I'm always responding to people. But we get to see the group go to the beach, pretty much the whole cast, and Swade and Dylan came in together, which was crazy. which was absolutely crazy. And Suede was like hella on him. Like you could tell that it's gone past the point of friendship. And Gemma was doing good. She says she's going to disengage. And normally I would feel like Gemma is wrong because I do feel like she's tripping over Dylan for no reason because it's not your mango. But in terms of girl code, I do feel like Suede has Gemma fucked up. You cannot play like you want to be this girl's like big sister, act like you guys are so cool, act like you want to uplift her, go off on this man just to apologize and realize, ooh, you kind of cute. Fuck my friend. Now I want to talk to you. And then for you to be an older woman doing all of this for a younger lad, you desperate bitch. I do not like Suede. Okay, Gemma gets on my nerves and does too much. Emily's messy and doesn't acknowledge girl code. But Suede, like, ugh. Suede and Emily, like the way that they move just gives, if a dick come my way, I'm doing the most I can to impress it. Like, I don't like that. But Nicole and Suede have a talk on the beach, and Suede admits to liking Dylan, and Suede feels like Gemma needs to get over it because it was 5 years ago. Then why can't you woman up and tell her that? You wanted to make it seem like you still didn't like him, knowing that you did like him and wanted to leave with him. Like, that's the part that looks weird. Caw-caw, bird. Caw-caw. And, you know, I appreciated Nicole for actually checking her friend on what she did. And Nicole said, well, if you could do that to her, how would you do to me? And what this bitch Suede says is, well, the difference is you're like a sister to me. Like, I really love you. So you're just saying that you love her and you're big sis and all of this, but it's really not that at all. Like, why would you say that to her if that's like not really what things were for real? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. It just proved that you're either further messy, and there's no reason to be this messy. There's no reason. But when she does that, hey, girly pops, fake bitch, please. But Suede claimed her and Gemma not that close. Meanwhile, Gemma's over there talking about, even though I don't like what she's doing, I care about her friendship more than a boy. Obviously, Suede doesn't. Obviously, Emma doesn't. So Gemma may be annoying and a little bit emotionally immature and charged up, but Gemma is loyal. Emma is loyal. It's Suede, Emily, and Nicole, I think, are the most messy in this group. But at least Nicole ain't trying to talk to nobody's man. Like, my goodness. But that was it for Calabasas Confidential. That's all that happened in those 2 episodes. I am going to get episodes 4 and 5 out to you guys in a couple of days. I do appreciate everybody for watching. Let me know how you felt about the episode. Let me know if you're watching the show. Suggest other shows if there is something else that you would like me to cover. Other than that, I hope you guys liked the video on your way out. I do thank y'all for watching, and I will see you on the next review. Peace out.